Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris and Carly again back with another edition here along our journey with our ball pythons. And so what we thought we would do today, we been watching a lot of videos, reading a lot about how you sex ball pythons. And so what I mean by that is, obviously, do you have a male, do you have a female? And we have two females, but quite honestly, we've never actually verified that. Right, so we've never actually done anything. There's two different methods for doing so. The first is what they call a popping method, and that is actually where you pop, for lack of a better term, the hemipenes if it is a male, or lack of hemipenes if it is a female, out from the cloaca. The other is a probing method, and seeing as how we're fairly inexperienced at this point, the easier of the two does seem to be the probing method. Now, I will say this before we get started: if you plan on doing this, definitely make sure you've done your research on this. Talk to experienced breeders and such, which we have done. This is going to be the first time that we've done it with our particular snakes, but it is definitely something that you want to make sure you understand. So. What we'll do, we'll go ahead and go over the tools that we're going to use to do so, and then we're going to actually start off with Carly's fun fact before we actually get into the process. So Carly, what's the first thing we've got over there?
We have a probing.
Got a probing kit. So obviously if you're going to probe your snakes, you got to have a probing kit, okay? This is actually one that we just got on Amazon. As you can see, there's various different type probes in there. From very small probes, this one here that I would assume would be for hatchlings, all the way up to rather large probes. And these particular probes, you can see, are a bit tapered and then have a little ball there on the end. And so as I've been watching videos, it kind of helps with those. When you have the ones with the balls, you can actually kind of see it going up into the snake there, and can sometimes kind of help you judge where that probe is at. So first thing you need is a probing kit. What else do we have there, Carly?
We need some gel.
We do. So this is just a personal lubricant. It is water soluble. I have seen where some people may use like a Vaseline or something like that. I think just for our purposes, we want to stick with more of a water soluble type of lubricant. So we'll put this on the probe before we insert it, obviously, into the snake, which should help it glide a little bit more easily. All right, Carly, what else do we have?
Rubbing alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol. So this is going to be very important, obviously, just to disinfect the probe first before we probe the first snake, and then obviously in between snakes we'll clean it again, as you definitely wouldn't want to pass anything from snake to snake as you're doing this. So rubbing alcohol. And finally, what do we have?
Their bag.
Their bag. Yeah. So their bag that they came in. So I actually saw this isn't necessarily needed, I don't think, but seeing as how we're going to have to do this, Carly's going to be filming, and I'll be kind of doing this single-handedly, sort of. Every video I've seen, snakes don't necessarily like to be probed, right? This is not necessarily it's going to be something fun for them. So I've seen a technique actually where you put them in the bag, you just have kind of their tail sticking out. That way they're not running around trying to get away from you and making it much harder than it hopefully needs to be to do this. And figuring as this is our first time in doing it, we're going to give ourselves every odds of success in this. So, all right, so those are the tools. So Carly, what is our fun fact for today?
So, when you are using the probe, females, if it's a female, the probe should only go in two or three. Mm-hmm. And if it's a male, it should go in 6 or 7.
Yeah, so what she's talking about is actually once you insert the probe into the snake, females have much more shallower pockets than males do, because males, that's where their hemipenes obviously are housed. And so on average, 2 to 3 scales for a female, 5 to 7 scales for a male, as you're inserting that probe. So should insert much more deeply into a male than it would a female. Now, our expectation is both of them are going to insert very shallow because we were sold to females. And so while we won't have anything to necessarily judge it against, that will be the expectation going forward. So we'll pull out the first snake, kind of get all set up, and we'll be back in just a minute. All right, guys, so here we go. So as you can see, we've got Miss Cutie here. Cutie is the bigger of our two snakes. She is currently at about 185 grams. So I am going to use this second probe, not the smallest, and most certainly not the biggest. So she was kind of already in her hide. She was sleeping a little bit, so she's probably not going to like me very much right now. But that's okay. That's all right. So, little alcohol here, and we're just going to clean this off really well. Okay. Then we're going to take our lubricant here. Now, Cutie's typically pretty chill, so you just see here, we're just going to get a little bit of lube here on the actual probe there. Let's just see if Cutie, see, she's getting a little tense already. All right, so we're gonna do what we set out to do in the first place. I'm gonna put her in this bag, and we're just gonna pull out her tail, and this will hopefully give her some sense of security, right? Being in the bag. There you go, sweetie. Now the problem's gonna be, nope, I need that.
She took her tail.
Yeah, she is really tensing up. So she is not liking kind of what we got going on here. All right, come here, sweetie. Let's see. All right, so let's go on our back here. All right. So you can see her tail's really tense, and we need her to really kind of relax her tail a little bit here. All right, let me see, baby. Let's see. She's really, really tense, so we're just gonna hold her for just a second. Let's just kind of let her relax, let her kind of chill out. Let me see if she'll give me this tail now. So.
Nope, she's like, no.
All right, there we go. All right, so right here's the vent. So you can see there's the vent scale, all right? And what we want to do is, this may be a little too big for her. We go right to the side here. That one's a little big, I think. We're gonna have to maybe go to this little one. All right, so let me clean this off real quick. Hopefully she doesn't get out. So same process here. We're gonna go with this small one. I'm just gonna get some lube on it here. Make sure it's nice and lubed up there. All right, come here, sweet girl. You can kind of see her spurs there.
She's like, no, let me free.
Yeah, she's not liking what's going on here. All right, come here. There we go.
She's taking her tail back.
Okay. So we want to kind of go right under the tail, or right under the vent, over here to the side. Now, hang on. All right. She is not cooperating very well. So I'm going to get more of her tail out like this. I'm going to get her turned over where I can maybe kind of, I don't know if the bag's helping or hurting us right now. Okay, here we go. Okay, now let's try this. Kind of come right here to the side. And no pressure being applied here, just kind of, there we go, relax, sweetie. And that's about as far as it goes, so about like that. Which if you look, that was about 3 scales. So one of the things that we're gonna do, just to verify, I did see this on another video and I kind of liked it. Just to verify, we're gonna try the other one, the other side I mean, just to make sure. So we'll get a little bit more lube on here. Let's get her tail back out here. Oh, come here.
She wants her tail back now.
Yep, I gotta have it. I gotta have it. You gotta give it to me. All right, and you can, as you can see, they're not fans of this really. So we're gonna come right over here to the side. No pressure, just letting it go as it goes. That's it. So again, about right there. So just a few scales in. So she
It's definitely a female.
Yep, she's a female. She did really good. She's not gonna like me. She was not happy. You are not happy, are you, sis? All right, so you can see she did very well. She is definitely a female, and we're gonna go put her up, and we'll be back with Bubbles. So we've got Miss Bubbles out now, so I'm just cleaning off our probe here. She is already quite tense, as you can see. So we're gonna go ahead and just stick her in this bag and let her kind of get a little less tense. See if I can just get her tail out like we did Cutie. And just let her kind of go down in the bag and just kind of hang out for a minute. Well, we've got everything there. All right.
She's taking herself.
Yeah, she is, I know. All right, so again, the smallest probe here. Definitely not skimping on the lubricant, okay? All right, come on, this thing. Yeah. She's gonna be a little harder. She's already going off the table here. All right,
She's taking the bag with her.
She's definitely trying to take her tail with her. Now she has got you can see she is much smaller than Cutie. So we're gonna get some lube on here. Okay. There's her little vent. Right to the side. Yep, she doesn't like it. Oh, she took her tail away. Come here. You gotta do this. You gotta let me do it.
She just does not like this.
She does not want to do it. All right,
She's like,
come
let
here.
me free.
She is not
Let me free.
having a good time. Okay, so let's try again. I know you don't like it. So under the vent, over to the side. Got to get a better hold over here. All right, here we go, sweetie. Come here. I know you hate it. There we go. She can't. She keeps turning over. All right, here we go. So there's her vent scale. Over to the side here. She is really, really small.
She's not
back here.
cooperating.
Yeah, she's definitely not like Cutie. All right, here we go. Maybe. Okay. And I almost can't even get it in there.
She's so small.
There we go. All right. No pressure, just right there. So about the same as what Cutie was there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's try the other side, as difficult as that side was.
She hit it.
Yeah, they're, as you can see, guys, they just really don't enjoy this, which I probably would not enjoy anything like this either. Okay, so we're going to come to the other side over here. Just to the side. You really need them relaxed when you're doing this.
She's not very relaxed.
No, she's pretty tense.
I mean, she's kind of relaxing now, but...
She is pretty tense. There we go. Just up there a little bit. Let her relax. No pressure. I'm just kind of easing it as she lets me go in there. Right there. So again, right there, which is where the others two had been. All right. All right, we're going to get all cleaned up and we'll be right back with you. Okay, guys, so there you have it. What'd you think?
It was interesting.
It was interesting. Yeah, it's a very interesting process. Luckily, you only really have to do that once, hopefully, right? When you're maybe when you have a hatchling or kind of like when I talked about in our tools video, if you just want to, kind of like what we're doing right now, just verify that you bought a male or you bought a female. So it was interesting, the difference in the two. Definitely the probe size needs to be adequate for the size ball python that you're trying to probe, obviously. I really thought Cutie could use that next size up since she's our bigger of the two, but she was not.
She was still pretty small.
Yeah, still pretty small. And so Cutie is about 185 grams right now. Bubbles is about 145 grams right now. Basically use the same probe on both. And what you really want to be careful of as you're pushing or sliding, I shouldn't even say pushing, as you're sliding the probe,
you don't want to put pressure on.
yeah, it's no. I wasn't applying any pressure forward. I was twisting a little bit just to kind of ease it in, and you could really feel as the snake relaxed a little bit, it would go, and then there was a for sure stop where it did not want to go anymore. And you've got to be very careful when you're doing that because you could easily injure the snake on the inside if you just kind of keep pressing and pressing. And like we said with Carly's fun fact, only went about 2 to 3 scales deep. You could see it was only about that much of the probe each time. And so make sure, again, guys, just kind of steps to the process. Make sure you're cleaning the probe before and in between snakes if you are probing multiple snakes at a time. Make sure you're using plenty of lubricant on the probe to ensure that it's sliding in and out freely. And then the bag really did help, especially with Bubbles. Bubbles tends to be a little bit more active than Cutie anyways, but even with Cutie, she didn't like it, right? She was trying to get away. So definitely having the bag, maybe even a smaller bag than we had, depending on the size snake that you have. I've seen others with larger ball pythons. They'll use like pillowcases or something like that if they're needing to sex the animal for any reason. But overall, guys, so that was our first experience with it. I would have to say it's somewhat of a success. I think we did verify that we've got a couple of females there. It is an interesting process, but it is an important process, especially if you, like I said, if you want to verify or future if you decide to breed ball pythons. So, anything else to add? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, remember, what do we need them to do?
Like, subscribe, and hit the bell.
Hit the bell so you know when we have new content. So, all right, guys, we appreciate you coming along with us again. We'll see you next time. Bye.